Welcome to Metal Band's Chronicles, where metal lives. And we got a classic death metal album to review today. That's right, we're going to review Obituary's 1992 album, The Incomplete, which came out on Roadrunner Records. You know, but before we get into that, so a couple weeks ago, let's say probably 3 weeks ago now, I think, I'd done a poll on my community post where I asked the subscribers which 5 albums, or out of these 5 classic death metal albums, which album do you want to see reviewed? So obviously the choices were Morbid Angels, Blessed Are the Sick, Cancers to the Gory End, Therions of Darkness, and Autopsy's Mental Funeral, which being Music of Destruction already reviewed. Go check that out, because he wanted to review it, and, well, we did. And we had Obituaries, The Incomplete, and Obituaries, The Incomplete won. But I'll tell you what, it was a close battle. All 5 of those albums got picked, and it was very close. It looked like Mental Funeral was going to win it at first, but Obituary came out on top. Rightfully so, because it's still a damn classic album. Either or, we're going to get right into this album review, man. That's right. So, the album came out on April 21st, 1992, on Roadrunner Records, produced by Scott Burns and Obituary. Album clocks in at 36 minutes and 17 seconds long. Recorded at Morris Sound Studios in Tampa, Florida. Excuse me there. It's still early in the morning here. And it's recorded during 1991, by the way. And this would be the return of Alan West to the band. Dude, I was going to say Adam West from Batman. What the fuck? But yeah, Alan West made a comeback to the band on this album because James Murphy had left Obituary. And yeah. So you got John Tardy on vocals, Alan West on lead guitars. You got Trevor Paris on rhythm guitars. The late Frank Watkins, rest in peace, on bass. And you got Donald Tardy on drums to complete the lineup. And this album did quite well for Obituary. I mean, for a death metal album, it sold over 100,000 copies. And in the US, it sold over 250,000 copies. Or, I'm sorry, worldwide it sold over 250 copies. 250,000 copies, excuse me there. Which would become one of the biggest selling death metal albums at that point. And to this day, still the biggest selling Obituary album. But yeah, man, it's still, I believe, one of Roadrunner's best-selling albums. Well, that's debatable, since crap like Nickelback came along and pretty much ruined that. But I digress. So we're going to get into the tracks here real quick. So the album opens up with I'm in Pain. Wow, what a great way to open this album. Very doomy, just heavy. Bone-churning heavy. That's the thing about Obituary. They always had this thick, heavy, dirty-sounding guitar tone. It sounds like it's just coming right out of a graveyard. That's how heavy it sounds. It's like a fucking bulldozer throwing dirt over somebody's coffin. That's how freaking heavy it is. And yes, what a great opener to this album. It's heavy. You get some deep beat sections. I just enjoy this track. I love it. Especially John Tardy's vocal lines. Help me, I'm in pain. I'm doing a very bad John Tardy impersonation, but, he's got that awesome death metal voice, that's very unique. And it's a good introduction to the track, Again, just a really cool track. You get some really great guitar leads from Alan West on this track. Simple, but very catchy riffs. Really good stuff. Then Back to One is next. Probably one of the faster, more upbeat tracks on this record. Pretty much D beats the whole way through, and it's another absolutely excellent track in my opinion. Yeah, a little more upbeat, but man, it's really good. It's kind of got a hardcore vibe to it, I think, which is kind of weird. But yeah, very enjoyable track indeed. Dead Silence slows it down a bit. Again, another pretty decent track, heavy, dirty, you know, just good stuff. What can I say? In the End of Life, another really good track in my opinion. The heaviness continues. I mean, just an absolutely heavy track. I mean, there's definitely a theme to a lot of obituary albums where the rips tend to sound the same, I guess. I mean, that to me is not really a bad thing, but that's kind of the flow I get with this album and a lot of their albums. Riff wise, you're not getting anything really different, or really that diverse. But when you hear it, it's obituary. You know what I mean? Because they just got that unique sound to their music. And the End of Life, good way to, or no, that's not it. Okay, well, and the End of Life is a great track. Also, and to end the first half of the album, we got Sickness, which this one does pick up the speed a little bit more. You get a little bit of D beats in this one. Pretty damn good track. Good way to end off the first half. Corrosive. Oh man, this track is absolutely awesome, dude. Slow, very doomy sounding. Just good stuff, in my opinion. Killing Time's another excellent track. You know, Pretty much the same thing. Another absolutely killer track. The End Complete, the title track, is absolutely killer. Kind of unique because I hear some groove on this track, especially near the end. It's got those like stop starts that bands like Fear Factory or Pantera would use. So yeah, I would say that's more of a groovy death metal type of track. Well, you kind of get that throughout this album too. But yeah, I think the title track, The End Complete's absolutely great. It's got that like type of ripping going on, kind of unique, kind of cool. So then we got Rotting Ways to End the Album, my favorite track on this freaking record. And what a great ender. Man, freaking John Tardy's voice is absolutely killer on this track. You know, I like the drum work on here. You get some excellent freaking lead guitar work from Alan West. It's just an epic way to end this legendary album, in my opinion. It's epic without being a very long track, you know what I'm saying? Because the track's 5 minutes and 13 seconds long, pretty average, I guess, in length. It's not overly long, it doesn't outdo its welcome. It's just a perfect ending to this album. So, yeah. All right, man. So, my score for this album, now there are a couple tracks on here that do sound kind of similar, but it doesn't really hurt the album, but it might take the score down a tad bit, but not by much. To me, this album is a 9.5 out of 10. So it didn't take it down much at all. It's a 9.5 out of 10. By the way, I still had this on cassette tape. And this was actually given to me way back in 1996. A friend of mine I used to go to Votech with gave it to me. Unfortunately, since then he has passed away. He passed away at a very young age, and I've held on to this cassette, basically in his memory. So rest in peace to my friend Dan, who is no longer here with us, passed away at a very young age, like I said, and was a really, really good guy. But anyways, that's my review for the 1992 album, The End Complete. It's a classic. It's a legendary album. This is the best obituary album, debatable. It's kind of weird because I always go back and forth between Cause of Death and The End Complete, or maybe even Slowly We Rot at times too, between those three albums because they're all great albums. I don't know, man. It's debatable whether this is my favorite. There's days I say it is, there's days I say it's not. It always changes. All in all, very good album, very legendary album. That's pretty much my review for The Incomplete. Anyways, stick around because I got another video coming up here later on this afternoon. And I'm going to do it from the Metal Ben Mobile. That's right. Because we had two albums turn 45 years old yesterday. I'm talking about the debut album by Van Halen and Judas Priest's fourth studio album, Stained Glass. That's right. We're going to talk about them here later on from the Metal Ben Mobile. Stick around for that. For now, I'm out. Keep it metal. Check out Music of Destruction, Damage Incorporated, Mean Metal Mike, Thrall to Metal, Wyatt's Metal Life, and keep things fucking metal and bang those heads.